I'm Kevin Casey. I'm a professional mixed martial arts fighter. And right now what I'm about to do is issue a warning out to all other competitors.
I don't want overs. I just expect them to happen.
Fatty's gonna fatty is real.
He is terrible!
We gotta know how many wieners are going down these dudes' throats.
I want to go quick because I don't give a fuck about anything that's going to happen on Saturday.
Hello, boys! Welcome to the MMA Analysis. Huge international fight week. 2-fight card in the UFC. Sodsman. We gotta talk about a few different things. I don't even know where to even begin. I think we kind of gonna have to go off the grid and go to July 4th, go to Coney Island.
Greatest
somebody needs to tell us, you, as the Sodsman, as the expert in humidity, as the expert in the hot dogs, in the hog, in all hogs, how did we miss 10 hot dogs? Like, how did that happen? I think they just made that shit up.
That was the biggest moose ever.
Yeah, I tell you what. I mean, we're all counting our money. You know, we're like, couldn't have capped this event better. You know, we killed it last year when they was laying fucking Joey Jaws, greatest living American, at like minus 250. They thought he was done after the divorce. Gave us crazy money. But this year, you was looking at 90 degrees. 100% humidity up there. There's no way he was breaking the record, right? And then they fuck up with this scoring, man. How you miss a whole plate of fucking runs? Yeah.
I still don't even believe it. I want proof. I want to see video.
Well,
again.
We got a cinematographer and genius that's going to take a look.
HQ.
HQ's going to pull out the fucking the projector and take a look at the replay. I'd like to know too, because man, that humidity, that many dogs,
that's wild.
And
many wieners and buns.
I mean, did he really win by 25 hot dogs or whatever it was? I mean, that really seems unlikely.
It was playing minus 4.5, minus 165 on the greatest living American against some schmuck that just started eating like 2 years ago.
Yeah, from South Jersey.
Yeah, some schmuck from South Jersey just started eating clams like 2 years ago.
Yeah,
and minus 4.5. Yeah, we got some crazy lines, but I want to know. And like soccer, messing around with the VAR. Major Grand Slam tennis finally went to the Hawkeye. We got to get digital counting and the Nathan's hot dog eating contest. Too big. It's gotten too big for everyone. They got world record breaking crowds now. World record breaking money. There was over $1 million bet offshore on the hot dog eating contest this year.
I'm surprised there wasn't more.
Yeah, true. But we got to get some electrical scoring going on here. I mean, even if you got to put like some kind of biodegradable chips in these wieners, I mean, we got to do it. We got to know how many wieners are going down these dudes' throats. Period. And yeah, you can cut that out, Sean, and put that on the next intro.
Oh shit!
That'd be nice. Greatest living American does it again, though, Jay. Is he not?
He is. He's
11 titles.
He might be better than the 1960s Boston Celtics.
Ooh.
Or those UCLA teams that never lost.
The only time I've seen somebody like straight dropping shit like that is maybe the Tyson of the 80s.
What about when Lance Armstrong in the steroid era? He was a monster. Yeah.
Man. Ooh, cycled blood fucking Armstrong? Man.
Oh, yeah. Resting heart rate of 34.
Whoa. Man.
Yeah. This is Charles's most dominant performance too. No one was even close to him.
In the heat, in the humidity.
I don't know how they could. That's a huge blunder. We really need some scientific evidence. It's embarrassing. embarrassing to ruin such a great American tradition like that. Anyway, Canadian news, Sean. So you guys got Canada Day, and we got Independence Day. That's cool.
Yeah, we had Monday off because Canada Day landed on Sunday, so we get the extra Monday off, and it was quite enjoyable. It's pretty warm out, so can't complain. It was deathly warm out east in like Toronto and Quebec right now. It was so hot they had to close the fucking roof at the Sky Dome for the Blue Jays
today.
game.
That's impressive.
It was like 48 with the humidex.
Wes, I'd love 48 right now, right, Wes?
At like 12:30, 1 o'clock today in fucking Louisville, it was hotter than any place in the country. It was 110 heat index.
You can have it.
At 1 o'clock today. It was hotter than any place in the country.
I'm good
Ridiculous.
on that. That's fucking too much.
Oh, it's bad, dude. Like people like talk about like heat, and I get like having 100-degree heat and stuff, but if you don't have like 100-degree heat and then 100% humidity and like a 75 dew point, you have no idea what you're talking about. You can't even imagine the difference. It's fucking ridiculous.
It sucks.
Death.
Heat sucks.
Yeah, it does. It kills fucking people. That shit will kill people.
Yeah, apparently some random scrubs can also kill Jake Shields, too.
And Khabib's cousin.
And Habib's cousin. We saw minus 1,000 plus fighters lose back-to-back. That might be the first time that's ever happened in MMA history.
He trying to say he gave both of those plays out.
Who?
Fucking InfoWars Val.
Oh, get the fuck out of here.
Valentino. Nice job.
Trying to say he gave them both out, yeah. Fuck out of here, Dave.
That was interesting.
Go bet 40 golfers and shut the fuck up.
On the negative side, it looks like we're down to one title fight for UFC 226.
Boo.
That's a boo, right?
That is a
Two
very
thumbs
big
down?
boo. Yeah.
It's a boo for the fight card, but not a boo. All things considered, I think it's a good thing.
Holloway was not right. I mean, I don't even
know. How do you know that?
From the interviews, man. Like even when
Bisping
was talking to him, when Bisping was talking to him, he sounded like depressed, and he had like he couldn't even like he couldn't. Yeah, he looked like he was drugged. What's that?
Just a couple of days ago.
Yeah. So I don't know. Supposedly they think that maybe the plane aggravated it. I don't know. I don't know if it was like that. I think they were just hoping it would be cleared up by the time he got over here from Hawaii or something. But yeah, he definitely should not be fighting anytime soon, and that's what Dana White said. I know there were some rumors that they're going to try to push to put this on 227, but.
And what, have 3 title fights?
Yeah,
that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, and then Dana White came out tonight and said that he's not going to be fighting anytime soon. So that sucks because Holloway is just an amazing fighter. So that's kind of shitty, but yeah, obviously don't want him to be getting head injuries when he's already feeling.
Holloway can't be cleared to fight, in my opinion, by say end of September. Then I think you just put T-City in a fight with somebody and do an interim title. I mean, that would actually be a justified interim title situation. We've seen how these concussion things can go.
Yeah, man. You look at Holdsworth. You look at
Grant.
TJ Grant.
He'll probably never fight again.
No.
Yeah.
Same with Holdsworth.
That's my main thing here. Is I'm like legitimately like worried that Holloway might not ever be the same again. Like there's a chance that we shouldn't like look past that. There's been precedents that like, I mean, Holdsworth was literally like the next coming of fucking one of those guys out of Team Alpha Male. He hasn't fought in 4 years. You know what I'm saying? Like TJ Grant was right there for a title shot. He's working in a mine or something. Yeah, he's working in a mine or some shit now. You know, like we just can't. And that shit you seen in that interview, man, that Sean was saying, dude, that didn't look good, man. Like, that dude's like 26 years old, man. That's not good, man. I'm worried going forward, man. I hope that we didn't see like the last best part of him. You know what I'm saying? And I would advise him to take a year off. If they take the belt, they take it. We know who the champ is. They want to do an interim title fight. That's fine, whatever. I'd take a year off.
Yeah, and it's not like he's old. He's young, so I mean, he can take some time off. And I mean, in other sports, this is kind of like Sidney Crosby had some concussion issues, and it took them a really, really long time. It ended up not even being a concussion. They had.
What about Paul Correa, man?
Yeah, well, that ended his career, but
for Eric Lindros,
yeah, that too. But but Crosby did come back.
There's a lot of guys here.
Crosby did come back. I mean, they figured out what was kind of wrong with him. So, I mean, hopefully that's the case with Holloway and he can come back. But yeah, it kind of sucks in the meantime.
Latifi's out against Glover.
Yep, that fucking Germany card is a dumpster fire.
Which card is this? The Hamburg card?
Yeah, they lost.
They lost
Ozdemir and Shogun as the main event because Ozdemir has a court case and they won't let him get a visa over there, just like in Chile. So they lost that card, and then or that was the main event, and then now they're losing the co-main event because Latifi's out.
It's just not good. I mean, is it that hard to get some of these Russian guys on that fight card? I mean, Jesus. I mean, they should be able to get. They should have East European passports. Holy cow.
We just need to bring back steroids.
They can't travel in a lot of those countries either, man. A lot of those guys, they won't let you travel in some of those European countries either.
Well, then that UFC fight card in 2 months in Russia should be stacked to the
goat. They should get every top ABC guy that they can get for a one-off fight. Every fucking one of them, dude.
They have
straight
that are on a UFC contract that they can get. I mean,
yeah,
it really shouldn't be that hard.
Yeah, but you don't want to put a Russian against a Russian. That's the problem.
What?
They don't like to put Russians against Russians and like
no, but
they
can find.
So that's the problem. You got to find other dudes to fight those dudes, right?
But I guess so.
That's where you can go around Europe and find you some fucking some cans to crush.
Yeah, some Polish fighters too. I mean, you have a few other things, Croatians. I mean, you can find a few randoms. Shouldn't be that hard, honestly.
It's the 18th.
You'll have all.
That's the 18th pullout for a main event or co-main event for this year. How fucking brutal is that?
Which goes back to my point that you should, for every single fight card that you have a main event, you should have a secondary fight in that same weight class.
So they did for the main of the Ultimate Fighter finale. They had Santos weigh in at 185, but they didn't have no backup for the goddamn title fight on the biggest card the next day.
Well, that wasn't the main. That wasn't the fight.
Well,
they have, to be fair, they have the Cormier, they have Cormier and Miocic, and they also have like arguably the number 3 and 5 supposed fighter. Yeah. So you could have pulled somebody from that, as hypothetically one of the other guys can't go.
Yep.
So I mean, they had a backup
for the main
but still, you're buying a ticket on fucking that 4th of July week celebration out there, 2 title fights. That's what you're buying your ticket for. You get a title fight pool. Most people ain't going to be too happy with that.
Nope.
Especially like if what we're discussing is having a backup plan for a title fight, like you're going to, my whole point is too, you're having a backup plan for the fucking main event of the TUF finale. You should have a backup plan for both title fights the next day. I get you could always pull Hogg or Lewis if you had to for the main,
Yeah. My only issue with the featherweight thing is that I don't think you have a good backup.
Yeah, there's no, there's not really.
We're going to bring Stevens in and do a fucking interim title match.
But that's not.
That's not. To me, that's like a waste.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. The UFC doesn't give a shit. That's what they tried to do. If you're going to try to do that, at least why not just have a backup plan? If when everything goes down and you're fucking scrambling around trying to put something together anyway, you know what I'm saying? Like you're going to bring
in some divisions it works better. That's all I'm saying. So like say at lightweight, there's like a handful of guys that are like worthy of a title shot like right now.
Yeah.
In featherweight, there's just not many guys because either Holloway's already beaten them or
I get
Ortega's already beaten them. There's just no, like, literally, it's a 2-guy division at the very moment.
Yeah.
Maybe it won't be for long.
Just talking about the UFC here, and the UFC shitty ass tried to run out and grab Jeremy Stevens and put on a fucking other interim title fight.
Frankie.
You know, yeah, like they're gonna do
You
shit.
saw the backlash from people, around. I mean, the diehards weren't really thrilled about the idea because they thought it's a waste. Like that. This seems like a fight you should wait for and not just do like a fight just to do a fight.
Yeah, especially when Stevens has a fucking fight in a month, less than a month.
Yeah, which is actually an interesting fight.
Which is the main event.
How they're thinking too that you don't want to like fuck over the people that spent like really good money to come out for this weekend either.
Yeah, I can dorks that go to Vegas every year. They're going for like the other thing, like it's like a there's other events going on, like it's a meetup. It's more than just going for like a one-off fight card. You know what? That's for this occasion, and you still have your main event. It's the co-main event, and it's not like say a bantamweight where you have Garbrandt and Dillashaw, where there's other fighters now. Obviously have Dominic Cruz there. There's a few other.
Moraes.
You have Marlon Moraes now. You could easily have someone else come in and build a compelling fight.
Yep.
And as a worthy contender. I think Nushan agrees. There's just no other viable contender.
Yeah, featherweight's tough.
Right,
just the way it's set up. Like right now, Ortega's kind of ran through everybody, and so was Holloway. So it was kind of like this is the fight to make. There was nobody else for Holloway to fight. So it's kind of tough for this one.
Until they prove themselves.
Yeah, until they prove
themselves.
This is a tough situation.
Through Jose Aldo in a month, then maybe you can make a case for Jeremy Stevens at that time.
Yep.
And right now, I don't think you can.
No.
I mean, you got ran through by Charles Oliveira at one point.
I think the big thing is we need to bring back steroids because that's why all these fucking guys are pulling
Yep.
out.
Yeah.
Because they're all getting injured because they're not on the fucking gear and can't recover and all
What
this
do you
shit.
mean? It has something to do with the weight cut? Too soon.
You got Rick Story fucking coming out PFL fucking juice to the gills,
Magma.
looking out like RoboCop and shit out there, fucking like putting on performances of a fucking lifetime and shit. Motherfuckers.
Yeah. It's an interesting time. And then DC almost he fell during the fucking press conference and he was limping. International Fight Week is cursed.
So Snowden tweeted out like about an hour and a half ago that he's like, DC hurt his leg if you're betting. And like, that's like way after it happened. If people saying, oh, he said he's all right. He's still going to fight and shit.
Of
but
course
like,
he's going to fight.
But like Snowden talks to a lot of fucking trainers and shit, man. He knows a lot of people. Like I would take that seriously, him tweeting that.
Mm-hmm.
Like I really would. I would take that serious. He talks to a lot of people. If he's tweeting out that DC hurt his leg, I would take that to heart. It's got me worried now. Like straight up, it's got me worried.
Well, should we dive into this dumpster fire of a Ultimate Fighter finale? Probably the last Ultimate Fighter finale in the history of the UFC. Hopefully,
rest in peace.
I don't know. I think they're going to
pour
do
one out
No,
for the Ultimate Fighter finale.
Oh,
they're going to do something.
Oh yeah, there
like
is one more. There is one more at the end of the year, and then that'll be the last one.
Let's hope and pray it's the end.
Yeah, because they're recording pretty soon, and I'm pretty sure it's going to be like featherweight chicks and heavyweights, maybe.
Yeah,
it's definitely going to be heavyweights.
They wanted Greg Hardy to go, or no, the other heavyweight
guy.
that was on that. Yeah,
that one.
Man, could you imagine they put Greg Hardy on Ultimate Fighter? I mean, why? Let's just be real here, man.
No.
He could buy that house.
Dana out saying hey that he's coming back. He's doing Tuesday night fights again.
Yeah. Oh, Greg Hardy, I just buy my own house. I say, fuck this.
Yep. But he hurt himself. He hurt himself in the football game that he played in right after. But
like a fucking kid, dude. Like, what are you doing, bro? You playing arena football for probably $100,000 a year and shit. Like, fucking quit, dude.
pays more than the UFC.
Yeah,
not for long. Hardy will get his money. Don't worry about it. It's just a matter of time.
That's a good tweet. You gotta check that one out. That's a good tweet. I don't care what anybody says.
Oh, wow.
Oh, fuck, that is a good tweet. Picture of Hughes, BJ Penn, and Gaethje, and then the next picture is applesauce, because that's what their fucking brains are.
Jesus.
Ruthless, Wes. You're fucking ruthless.
That's a good
So, Jay, I'm assuming you did not watch The Ultimate Fighter this season.
No, I did not watch The Ultimate Fighter.
I believe Wes and
I don't know how you really can.
Yep.
Wes and I watched it because we're cool like that.
I've never missed one, man.
Yeah.
I'm an idiot. You can call me. I don't even say. I'm crazy. You say I'm crazy. Now I just say I'm an idiot because I'm an idiot.
I fast
90. Have yet to miss one.
90% of the time, I just fast forward through the bullshit and just watch the fights.
Yep.
That's why Contender Series is better, because all you get is 5 minutes of talk and the rest is fights.
Oh, I know, but I mean, this is just more fights.
There's some guys that come on there that I'm kind of like interested in, that I'll watch some of their backstory and shit before they fight, that kind of shit. Yeah. But besides all the house stuff, it's pointless now. Yep. Most of those guys now come in there and literally are business.
Yeah,
I mean,
why wouldn't you be?
Yeah, there's no more the drama and shit anymore. It's literally like, man, we're here to work. You know what I'm saying?
Damn, there's no more jerking off into food and stuff? That's a shame.
Yeah, there's no more let me bang, bro. There's no more pissing on Leapin's head. Shit. You know, it ain't what it used to be, man.
So neither of these guys were on the Ultimate Fighter as far as I know. And they kick off Fridays rather.
That is tomorrow.
It is tomorrow. The TUF finale. TUF 27. I know, it's crazy. We got Gerald Meerkat taking on Oscar Piechode. We'll start with Nushan.
This is actually this fight's going to be better than a bunch of the fights on this card. It's actually going to be pretty decent. Piechode was a fairly big favorite in his first or his last UFC fight against Tim Williams. Tim Williams is terrible, and he just destroyed him. There was no real resistance there. Meerschaert's definitely a pretty sizable step up. Meerschaert's actually pretty good. I mean, the only guy he's really lost to in a long, long time is Thiago Santos, and that's not really that bad. So should be a pretty decent fight. I don't know much about Piechode's if he's worthy of being a over 200 minus 200 favorite. I'll pick the old Meerkat to have a little upset here.
Wes?
Yeah, I can pretty much agree with a lot of what Sean said. It's a close fight. It's hard for me to pick here. That's why 2-1 or over minus 200. I just can't see that. I think somebody's going to sleep here, though. I don't think this fight goes to a decision, but I'm probably on Meerkat here too. He'll be a pick and towel master, but no bet on this fight. It's too close to call. But I'll take the dog and towel master.
I got Piechode a C minus, Meerkat a D plus. These guys are actually very similar in their approach. Pretty slick grappling game. Fairly long for the weight class. But I do think Piechode is a legitimate favorite here. He's way more athletic. He's a more dynamic finisher. I think he's got stronger weapons overall. Even though from a technical standpoint, they have a similar approach. So, I'll take Piechode. And that's my pick there. Next up, we got, two guys who fought on the Contender Series, if I remember correctly. Matt Passett and Steven Walking Punching Bag Peterson. Nushan.
Yeah, Peterson. That is a very.
He likes getting punched.
That's
in the
a
face.
very astute nickname for him because he likes to take punches in the face and does not give a fuck about moving out of the way.
He likes bleeding too.
Yeah, he's fuck defense. I mean, why would you try to make your opponent miss? Let's just let him hit me all the time. I don't think much of Steven Peterson. Matt Bessette lost to Barzola last time. Enrique Barzola isn't terrible.
No, he's not.
So it's not that bad of a loss, but
he's the Peruvian goat, Nushan. Have some respect.
That's true. It's very true. So I kind of expect Matt Bessette to kind of come back here and have a better fight and be able to light up old Steven Peterson.
Wes, do you believe Matt Bessette wins this one as well?
Man, I tell you, I think Bessette is far more skilled and stuff, and Peterson does have just god-awful defense. But, man, Bessette always has problems with guys that are a little bit bigger than him and come forward and can pressure him. Barzola did that quite a bit. Man, Peterson's going to come forward and pressure him and try to get him against the fence and shit. And if Bessette allows him to do that, I mean, that's the kind of guys he has trouble with. I'll probably have to pick Bessette here, but man, if the Peterson line gets a little too big, I'll have to throw a little bit on him. Bessette seems to shit the bed against guys like this in big spots. So, pick his Matt Bessette at this point, but Peterson gets too big, I'll probably sprinkle on him.
Yeah, I can rate these guys both a D+. I'm coming with Wes here. This is intriguing because Bessette certainly has more weapons, but Peterson's approach is the type where it can give guys fits, especially if they don't have the gas tank to go for 15 minutes, because Peterson won't stop coming forward. It's just a bitch to kind of fight him. You might be able to beat him up, hurt him even, but he'll give it to you for sure. It's just, you always got to be weary in that kind of a scenario. So I think Peterson is definitely a guy that you would look to in live betting as opposed to before, because I think it'll be hard for him to win the first round. And if he does win the first round, I don't see him losing this fight. So that's kind of the way I would approach this one. That said, I think I'd just take Bessette because just the amount of damage he can potentially inflict here definitely could sway the judges. So I'll take Bessette, but Peterson's I think is live, could potentially win this fight. We got next up is we got 3 fights in a row between TUF from TUF Fighters. I'll read all 3 of them off, and then each of you guys can give your thoughts as you see fit, or if there's any you particularly want to mention. So you got featherweight, you got Tyler Diamond taking on Bryce Mitchell. At lightweight, you got John Gunther taking on Alan Zuniga, and then you got Louis Pina taking on Richie Smullen. I think I got that right. New Sean?
Diamond versus Mitchell should actually be a pretty good fight. Both these guys, I think.
Diamond's got to be a porn name now.
Well, it's Dustin Diamond.
Dustin Diamond is a porn name.
Diamond.
But yeah, that should be a good fight. I think both these guys, I think if you kind of put odds on them before the Ultimate Fighter tournament, you would have thought that both these guys would be in the finals. Both of them kind of choked away their fights to get into the finale. So I expect that to be a pretty good fight. Gunther is a weird dude. He's not very skilled. I don't know how he's undefeated at this point, but I don't know what's going on there. And then Luis Pena is Violent Bob Ross. That guy, he probably would have done pretty well on this season. He won his first fight pretty impressively, but he broke his foot, so then he was out of the competition. I think he might even won it. So he should tool up the guy he's fighting.
Wes.
Yeah. So the Diamond Mitchell fight. Actually, Diamond was probably the best guy on this season in that weight class, but I thought Mitchell was probably the second best guy. I was pretty impressed by that kid. You could tell DC loved that kid too, man. Like he was just the stuff he was learning in the wrestling and shit, like he was doing these ankle picks and shit that DC was like, I taught that boy that yesterday. And like he was doing it in a fight like the next day. Like the kid's really, really good. But I think those were the two best guys in that weight class on the season. But at this point, Diamond, he looked really, really good, man. He just kind of, I think the moment it got to him in that semi, and he gassed hard. Man, but he was way more talented than oh boy he was fighting, and I think he's just a little bit better than Mitchell at this point. So I like him in that fight. Yeah, Sean's right, Gunther. That dude's just, man, he's a flake. He's fucking out there. Lives in a van or some shit. Like he's off the fucking reservation, dude. But man, the other cat, man, he's just down in Costa Rica with zero training partners and shit, man. He's just, Gunther should be able to body him up and win that fight. And then, yeah, like Sean said, Luis Pena, that cat was going to have a chance to win the whole show, man. He's fucking huge for the weight class. Tons of length. He's going to smash Smolin here. This Smolin dude is the guy that literally, I've never seen somebody start having like full leg cramps and shit before a fight because they're so fucking scared. He literally got so nervous, dude. He started cramping up all over the place. Of course, it's fucking, SBG,
baby.
Kavanaugh, greatest coach on the planet. You know, of course, one of his guys, it's literally can't walk out to the cage because his fucking body's going into full fucking seizures and shit. Yeah, Pena's going to destroy that cat right there. So, yeah, Diamond, Gunther, and Pena for me. And the Diamond Mitchell fight is really good. I think those are two guys that you'll absolutely you'll see in the UFC going forward. They're both really good, very talented guys.
There you go. We'll see. Definitely there's some hype behind Tyler Diamond, but he didn't make the final, so he'll have to kind of start from lower in the pack. The preliminary TV card fight is a fairly interesting women's flyweight matchup. You don't say that very often, but I think this one is between Montana De La Rosa and Rachel Ostovich. New Sean. Don't know, don't care?
Don't know and do not give a fuck.
Yeah, I know, that's you. What?
They won't give us any totals, so Sean doesn't care. Yeah, it's horrible now with totals, man. Like it's maybe 14 hours for fights and shit, and we don't even have totals up yet.
Yeah, I mean, fight goes to decisions only minus 150. I mean,
damn.
I guess you could take that, but Montana is a finisher, so.
Yeah, I actually like Rachel in this fight. Actually, I think she can kind of can wrestle here a little bit. Probably won't bet it, but plus 145, it might be worth a little sprinkle. I'm going to pick her in Top Master.
Yeah, I have De La Rosa C-, Ostovich a D+. I just think De La Rosa, again, it comes more just being a more dynamic finisher. I think she's got a pretty crafty submission game, pretty long for the weight class as well. This fight, I think, is one of those that'll tell us a lot about what each fighter potentially is capable of in this division. So I think it's good timing to do this matchup to really see where they stand in a division that's still trying to build itself out. So I think this is, in general, is a pretty decent fight. Kind of important for the division. So I like it. Next fight up should be a banger, though. Catchweight, 190 pounds. You know what that means. Alessio Di Chirico taking on another tough contender, or rather a contender series guy, Julian Marquez. New Sean, do you know what that means?
That means Marquez is probably going to win.
Correct.
Because they're damn near undefeated. I think they only have a couple losses for guys
also
that miss weight.
Correct.
Yeah, this should be an exciting fight. Both these guys definitely got some finishing ability. Di Chirico coming off just destroying the bang bus with the violent knee. That was
who just want to destroy the bang bus?
It's
destroy on the bang bus.
There, that's what you want to do.
Yes.
Yeah, I'll take Marquez. I don't really have too good of a lean on this fight. I'll take Marquez, even though he missed weight, but that seems to be a good thing these days.
Yes, it is. Wes.
Yeah, that has been the case, but I think it's a little different here because he was like the last guy to weigh in, and
yeah, but he still had time. Though. The weird thing is, he still had time to like cut weight, and he just fucking gave up. He's like, "Fuck it,
right.
190, let's go."
But I'm saying he was pretty much trying almost all the way up until the end. So apparently he was still trying, and still missed by 5 pounds. Not like he just said fucking an hour before and was like, I ain't trying no more.
No, I thought he had still like a bunch of time to weigh in. Like,
he came in at like 5 minutes left,
really? Okay,
and weighed in over. Yeah,
but he was the very.
They gave him 2 hours. He had 2 hours today, and he took it all the way to the last 5 minutes and was still 5 pounds over. That's why I'm saying it's a little different than what's been happening this year, where guys have been like, we all see it now. They just say fuck it. He cut all the way up and still was 5 over. I don't know how much that's going to matter. It's just a little bit different than usual. All things being equal, I like Marquez quite a bit as a fighter. I mean, he's got some big wins coming in. But man, missing weight like that, DeCirico's he's no pushover. Plus money. I'm probably going to stay away from the fight, but I might have to pick DeCirico and Talmaster. I'm just a little worried about how the weight cut misses went down, and I usually am totally on the other side of that. This one just seemed like he actually really tried today, and he looked rough too when he came out, so we'll see. No bad for me though.
I got DeCirico a D, Marquez a D+. I was a little worried about Marquez previously because, Stewart did kind of take him to the brink, but, Marquez is just resilient. And he just, I like his work rate just a lot more than DeCirico, who, is decently talented, but I don't know, he plods and he doesn't finish well. It's just not a good combination for long-term success in MMA. Like, Marquez is kind of a guy who smells blood and he goes for it. Especially in a lower level type of fight. I definitely prefer that. So I'm going to take Marquez. It could either be, I wouldn't be surprised either way. It's a finish or a decision. So definitely can go either way in that regard. Another women's flyweight fight. I know you can't wait, Nushan. Your girl, Roxanne Modafferi, taking on something again called Barb Hanchuk.
Come on, you don't know who Barb Hanchuk is?
I know she is, right. But I wanted to forget.
Yeah, fair enough. Fight goes to decision is minus 425. Isn't that awesome? You know what we're in for? We're in for 15 minutes of Roxanne Modafferi and Barb Hanchuk throwing hands. Throwing hands.
Not
Fuck am I excited.
It's more like hats with the T standing for terrible.
That's exactly what it stands for. I'll take Hanchuk, but I really could give less than 0 fucks.
Hanchuk by hats.
Mm-hmm.
Sodsman, do you think we're going to see lots of hats here, or are we going to see more haze?
Nah, it's going to be Hanchuk just laying on top of Roxanne for 15 minutes. Hanchuk by decision. Hanchuk by decision is like minus 128 though. That's playable.
It's going to be a bunch of Che Guevara type of hats. Nothing cool. Just a bunch of boring ass hats.
That's so bad. Decision is minus 120. Her straight is minus 160. Fuck me.
That's what's going to happen. That's exactly what's going to happen.
I'm aware.
I don't know either. I got both these girls a C+. I don't know. Modafferi's made some improvements.
She looked juiced too. She looked fucking juiced, dude. Like on the scales. Did y'all see her?
I'm fine about it. Good for
Roxanne?
her.
She was jacked, dude. I'd never seen her like
She's
that.
never been tested by USADA.
Nope.
They're like,
Never,
that's
not
a waste
one.
of time.
Genius.
Why? She's probably got more fucking substances running through her veins than anybody, and they just don't even test her.
More than Pepe, more than Cyborg.
More than a little drunk.
Man, she's got fucking green veins.
What about Vitor? Fucking 2 months out of retiring. This dude's already fucking.
Oh, I'm going to Rise, and we're like, oh,
dude, he's huge. He posted a fucking pic, dog, and his fucking shoulders look like 7 times bigger already. That motherfucker went straight home and started hitting massive needles, dude. Holy shit.
I'm going to lean Modafferi. I'm not even sure why. Because, I mean, all I see from a Hanchak is, like, someone who's just going to, like, lay on top of someone and do nothing. At least Modafferi will, like, throw strikes from bottom and go for submissions. Sometimes
she could catch her.
Yeah, right. Maybe. Wouldn't be a shock. So I'll take Modafferi, but I don't know. It's a tough fight to call. Yeah, next fight up, I think this could be way more exciting. We got Bruce Leroy Caceres taking on Martin Bravo. New Sean.
Man, Bruce Leroy.
Are you taking Bruce Lee or are you taking Johnny Bravo?
We feel the same about this one, I guarantee.
Oh my god. Like, he didn't lose that last fight, right? I mean,
Which fight was that again?
From Guan Wang?
No, he didn't lose that fight.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was a really bad decision.
That can't be good if I forget.
Yeah.
But
the problem is he shouldn't be in that close of fights. That's the problem.
Yeah.
But he tends to do that. He really likes being in very close fights, and he's probably going to do that here. I don't know much about Martin Bravo. I really can't even remember. He lost in 26 minutes to fucking Humberto? Like, come on. What are we doing here?
Oh, yeah. Baden boy. All right.
Yeah, so I have no idea. Holy fuck, no. MMA Decisions is all for Guan. So I guess Bruce Leroy was definitely supposed to lose that fight, and it shouldn't even been a split. So there you go.
I don't remember.
Yeah, I will. I guess I'll take Bruce Leroy. I don't know. It's so bad.
Wes, can we trust Bruce Leroy anymore?
No, not at all. He's so much better than these guys. Like, really, he is. He's so much better than these guys. He just he doesn't give a fuck, man. There's just something about him, dude. You can't trust him here. I mean, I'm going to pick him in Toutmaster just because he's better than this guy. Yep. He's better than most of these guys, but you can't trust any money on him anymore.
He's lost 11 times in his career.
Yeah, man.
He's getting to he's getting to old Floboff level almost.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. This is Flobby.
It's a bunch of fights, too, man, where it's like split decisions and shit like that, man, to where he's in all these fights and shit, and then just dumb shit, dude. Like, yeah, he's a total mook. You cannot put a dime on that guy anymore. I'm gonna pick him here though, dude. He should absolutely win, but probably won't.
Yeah, it's tough with him. I agree. I got both these guys at a D level because, like you said, Caceres fights to the level of his competition. I mean, it wasn't that long ago when he fought Yair Rodriguez and it went to a split decision. You know, that's
looked good for a couple rounds against Yair.
Then he got smoked by Jason Knight. Then he KOs Rolando D, and then he loses to Wang Guan by split. And he looked awful in that bout. But maybe that's an opportunity. Maybe it's the Wang Guan thing was out in Shanghai, as obscure location. Now he's fighting in the U.S. Maybe he shows up this time, facing a Mexican fighter. Feels more comfortable. Maybe it's a gift. I don't know. Like Wes said, you can't trust him with your money. But I'm with him. I'm going to pick him in Toutmaster too. That's. I think that's the way I have to look at this one.
Minus 135 though against this clown. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
skill wise, he wins, but that's not the fight though.
You want to bet him every fucking time, though. They kind of pressure, like, man, you just look at him. He's so much better than this fucking clown. And then he gets there, and it's like...
It's weird.
It's like, guys like Sean O'Malley can get high and go out there and perform. Guys like fucking Leroy gets high, and he goes in a fight and looks high. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yep.
It's something about this motherfucker, man. I don't know what it is.
Neither is anybody else. So we got the TUF finales next. I'll let New Sean start with, well, either of these. We got the lightweight fight, Mike Triziano versus Joe Giannetti. There's a lot of vowels in these TUF finale fighters. I mean, geez. Jay Cuccinello taking on Canada top 5 pound for pound.
You know
is this another Canada hype train?
You know it.
Brad Katona. Why are there so many vowels going on here?
So here's the angle. Brad Katona could become the first Canadian to win a regular Ultimate Fighter. So obviously, yeah. So obviously he's not. And on top of that, he trains at SBG. So he left Canada. He left Canada just like Dawadu did. Went to SBG, and then you know what's going to happen.
He learned from the tutelage of the one and only John Kavanaugh.
Yeah. So
the greatest MMA coach in the history of the world, better than Matt Hume.
That's right.
Better than Mark Henry.
Oh, easily.
Better than Daniel Cormier.
All day.
Better than Mike Winklejohn. Better than Greg Jackson.
You know it. Great. So yeah, obviously he's going to lose because he's another great white Canadian hope. Plus, he's fighting a guy, Cuccinello, who fought for IFUC. Impact Fight UK. IFUC. I mean, you gotta pick a guy that used to fight. He used to fight for IFUC.
That's how stunning him beating fucking Diamond.
What is IFA?
No, IFUC, as in IFUK.
That doesn't exist.
That does exist. It's called Impact Fight UK, and they shortened it to IFUC.
Where is this? Where is this
in the
organization?
UK. It's in the United Kingdom.
Oh man, that's the branding genius right there,
Fuck
dude.
Yeah.
Those guys are real geniuses.
Cuccinello's
They probably asked Kavanaugh for that name.
So yeah, that's the reason why Cuccinello's gonna win.
Whew.
Yeah.
You got the other two Italians fighting?
The other two Itais. Trezano's been subbing everybody. He subbed both his guys in the first round, so it's fairly impressive.
Who are you talking about? Mike Trezano.
That's the guy.
All right, say it with me.
Mike Trezano. Fuck. Yeah, like it seriously looks like it's Ultimate Fighter Italy here, right?
With them.
It's insane.
More like New Jersey. It's like
that could be too.
It's like tough Jersey Shore.
Nah, Giannetti's he's Italian from Boston.
We're talking about Giuseppe Giannetti over here.
Yeah, so I'll take it was Giannetti that was subbing everybody in this first round. That's my bad. Yeah. I mixed up the Italians. So yeah, I'll take Giannetti to sub Trezano. Trezano fought just dumpster fire worth of competition. He fought against Thailand Clark, who's just garbage, and then he fought against John Gunther.
Wait, there's a dude named Thailand?
Yeah, he was this he was this black guy that just talked all this shit, and he just got dummied.
There was a couple of them this season that was like, I got a Rolex watch. I make more money than all you motherfuckers that went out there and got smashed,
dummied. And then he beat John Gunther, who's terrible. So yeah, I'll pick Giannetti. He should be able to sub Trezano.
He's he trains with Jimmy Rivera. Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah.
At least
Trezano's from a really good camp. Yeah. Actually, I bet Katona here. I got him on the open at -145, and man, Cuccinello, dude, just kind of he hit lightning, man. Diamond dropped him like 2-3 times in the first round, dude. Like dropped him, had him all fucked up, man. Cantona's so much more talented than this guy. I do worry about touching anybody from SPG outside of Connor, though, man. That's all like bad juju. But I'm telling you, man, Cantona's better than this guy. He should win here. I wouldn't touch it at all at minus 235, though. There's no way. And the other fight, man, I actually think Giannetti might be the best talent to come off this show. Honestly, no bullshit. The dude's like fucking 6 foot in the weight class. 6 sub game, like Sean said, he was just subbing dudes with all kinds of shit. His hands improved tremendously, man, in his last fight on the show, dude. Just, you could tell the improvement he got in 6 weeks on his footwork and his striking. I think it could be pretty good, man. Trezano looked decent, trains at a good camp, but like Sean said, he was going to the second round and stuff with like the dumpster fires of the show. You know what I'm saying? Like you could tell he's just, I don't know. I think he's been at a good enough camp. He might be as about as peaking as he can. You know what I'm saying? I just don't know how much further that he can go to where I think Giannetti has like the sky's the limit for him. I think it could be really, really good. So I like him in this fight. So yeah, Cantona and Giannetti for me.
Let's move up to the final, the main event. Interesting fight. We got Hawaiian Brad Tavares. So there at least one Hawaiian showed up this weekend. Taking on the style bender. The last style bender. Israel Adesanya. An MMA Analysis favorite. New Sean, is the hype train going to continue, or is the Hawaiian going to derail it?
This is going to be a very tough test. Adesanya hasn't been doing MMA too long, and Tavares is a pretty grizzled vet with a tough style. There aren't many guys that have come out and just been able to steamroll Tavares. I mean, Whitaker did it. Bosch was able to land, and that's about it in the last little while. Like, those are elite. So this is gonna be a tough matchup. Adesanya has looked like he's been picking some stuff up. You know, his get-up game is decent. I could really see Tavares just grinding him on the fence and just being able to slow him down, tire him out. Adesanya doesn't really cut weight. He could probably make 170 if he really wanted to. So Tavares is going to have a fairly decent size advantage. But Adesanya's striking game is so good. I really hope he pulls this out, just to see another interesting character in the middleweight division. So it is a tough matchup. If you got Tavares at some decent plus money, props to you. I think it's a damn near pick'em, just like it is, and I'll pick Adesanya to knock out Brad Tavares somehow with staying off the fence.
Wes, did you see that there was a former UFC fighter who just posted his own hog pick?
Ooh,
what? What's this now? Hold up.
Not following the right people, obviously.
I know. As soon as I click over on Twitter, it's literally at the top of my fucking tongue.
Oh, the Baroni.
I didn't think you had to like that one.
Fucking Dougie, you motherfucker. He said Baroni the GOAT.
Jesus Christ.
Goddamn Baroni the fucking elephant. The elephant Trump.
No wonder he's an idiot. He has no fucking...
No, Gano, but it does the job, I guess.
There's no blood left for his brain to run properly. Jesus Christ.
No wonder Baroni's been punch drunk for fucking 20 years. All the blood's been rushing to his dick forever.
What a fucking guy.
What a guy. He is an interesting character.
Woo.
He's definitely one of those guys. You're like, they have those stupid questions like 4 people you could have dinner with. He'd be one of those guys.
Oh, he's got some stories.
God knows the war stories he'd tell you.
Yeah, Baroni, man, you could tell he was fucking out there from way back, man.
Yeah, man, he was out. Could you imagine what he was like as a kid? Like when he was like 12?
Yeah, the 16, 17, all the people he's running around dummying and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like,
man, the first reply to Baroni's dick pic is, "What weight classes does that compete in?"
Yeah, that's fucking heavyweights.
Sausage class.
Oh, fuck.
He said sausage class. So that's kielbasa class.
Chorizo.
Oh man, that's pretty good.
Who got the main
Give
event?
us a take on this fight. Yeah, let's get to the fight.
All right. Yeah, I don't think you could break the fight down too much better than Sean did. There's really no other way to look at it here, honestly. I'm as big as a Stylebender fan as you'll find, man. I actually watched him when he was kickboxing. I think this is a really tough fight, man. I think this is one to where the UFC might have moved like a potential star a tiny bit too soon. I think he can win here, but it's all going to depend on how well he can move and stay off the cage. I don't think Tavares is going to try to take him down here. You know, I don't think he's got to worry about that too much. That's not really Tavares' his game. Like Sean said, he more wants to get it against the cage and just work him. That's a problem too, though, if that's the game he lets Tavares get into. But man, if he can move and keep his back off the cage, he's a better striker. I mean, he's next level than other guys. So yeah, I'm going to pick him here. I'm not jumping off the train, but I think he's in really, really tough here, and we're going to find out if he can take another step, because Tavares is going to be a really, really tough match. I probably won't bet anything here. Just going to sit back and watch this one and pick the Stylebender and Talmaster.
I got Tavares a B-, Adesanya a C+. This is difficult for me because I'm a big fan of Adesanya's skill set. He's very entertaining. There's definitely a really high ceiling potentially, but there are holes and they have to be solved before he can really catapult up this division. We saw it in the third round of his last fight. He was held down pretty significantly and had no real answers at that point. You know, Tavares isn't the greatest wrestler in this division, but he's got a well-rounded skill set. He's certainly willing to strike. He's good in the clinch. He can take fighters to the ground. He's got a lot of different ways that he can fight and contend, and he's a guy who tends to get better as fights go on too. So this is going to be a tough out for Adesanya. It's going to be tough for him to really maintain distance where he's at his best and can kind of dictate the fight, because Tavares is going to certainly look to close distance, and he's going to be able to do so, in my opinion, and really make Adesanya work. We're going to get to see what this kid's made of. He's not really a kid, I guess, at this point, but very, I guess, inexperienced for MMA standards. So I think this is kind of a fight that Adesanya may need to lose in order to do better moving forward. Just so he works on those, especially his ground game, before he can really take the leap up in this weight class. Because if it continues like this and he wins a couple fights close, ultimately he's going to get to a point where he didn't work on those skills enough, and he's going to face the top fighters in the division, and he's going to get whipped. So I'm going to take Tavares, but it's a little tricky because just Adesanya is just so gifted as a striker. But I certainly like the variety that Tavares brings. So that concludes our take on the TUF finale. Now we move up to we'll call it the main event. UFC 226 on Saturday. Pretty loaded fight card that starts with what Nushan is thrilled about, another women's bout.
I will not dignify this fight with a response. It's a black mark on an amazing card.
All right, Wes. Jamie Moyle, training at Team Alpha Male, taking on something called Emily Whitmire.
Pass.
Fucking
Pass.
2-2 against 4-2.
I'll definitely take Moyle because Whitmire is terrible.
There we go.
Terrible, terrible, terrible. And I grade her a D minus. So.
And I grade her a D minus. That's good.
Yes, we got some fans. There's definitely some fans of us talking about Phil Baroni on this podcast. Why am I not surprised? Where else are you going to get Hawganalysis? Let's move up to more important things. And a fight that's, maybe not too important, but it's a pretty good fight in the lightweight division. Dan Hooker taking on Gilbert Dorino Burns. Nushan, what do you think?
I think this is a close fight. I mean, obviously, that's what the odds say. I did grab Gilbert Burns by sub at plus 380. I know he doesn't have great takedowns. I know he's knocked out his last two opponents, and he seems to be falling in love with that. But with his sub game, if it does get to the floor, it's close. It's almost a wrap. So Dan Hooker is still New Zealand. He doesn't have great wrestling, and so I'll take Gilbert Burns by sub.
Wes, that was quick, Nushan. Good job.
Yeah, it's a sneaky good fight, man. One of the better fights on a really good card. I'm kind of seeing it the same way as Sean again. If it does stay standing, though, man, he's pretty damn good, man, on the feet, dude. He does a lot of things really well. Knows how to keep distance really well. Like Sean said, Burns kind of is he going to keep getting falling more in love with it with the striking when he's knocking out these total fucking punching bags? I don't think that's a good recipe for success in this fight, but if he does get in trouble there, man, I mean, if this goes to the mat, it's just different worlds here. So, man, it's a hard one to pick for me. I'm leaning Burns right now, but I think it's really close. Yeah, I'm going to go Burns. He's even money right now. I don't know about a bet on this one though. I could see both guys winning here, but the pick is going to be Burns.
Yeah, both fighters to see. I think this is a really interesting fight. Certainly Burns, the excellent grappling game. Has had a few knockouts recently as well to show some power. But I think Hooker's the more diverse striker. I like how he's improved in recent fights, and he's got a major size advantage, length advantage over Burns. So I'm going to take Dan Hooker here. I think he's on a roll, and I think he's going to win this fight on the feet over Gilbert Burns.
I could see it.
Anyway, televised card. We got people complaining about dick pics on the internet. Unbelievable.
That's what the internet's for.
I gotta say something because there are. We'll even look in the UFC. You have these ring girls that are posting pictures all the time of doing this and that, blah blah blah. Okay, people in general, and then a guy posts a picture of himself, and now it's the end of the world. I mean, what is with this double standard? It's an awful double standard.
And you're following Phil Baroni. You don't expect some old crazy shit to pop off. You know what I'm saying?
You're following the wrong person.
The dude that owns a strip club in Nevada that you only pay with cryptocurrency, okay? What the hell do you expect?
You're lucky you didn't get a close shot of his asshole, motherfucker.
Yeah, exactly. So let's move on. welterweight, this should be an exciting bout. Curtis Millender taking on Max Payne Griffin. New Sean, what do you got for me?
Millender looked good in his last fight. I was on him against Alves. That was a pretty big beatdown. Alves should have probably been out of there a lot sooner, but, you know, some people like to see fighters die in the cage, so that's fair enough. Millender probably should have been in the UFC a little while ago. He's been doing pretty damn well in the LFA and on more of the regional circuit, so he's shown a pretty good striking variety. Max Griffin, I don't know what to think of him. He did stick to his plan against Mike Perry. He didn't get sucked into a brawl that Perry wanted. But he also kind of lost to Elijah Duskue right before that. So it's tough to know what fighter's going to show up. He's alternated wins and losses. So I guess a loss would be coming up since he beat Mike Perry last time. I'll take Curtis Millender.
Smart decision.
Yes, sir.
Sodsman, what do you got?
Damn, so Nick tweeted out that odds-wise, those two upsets on PFL were two of the biggest upsets in MMA history by odds.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy.
Yep.
Back to back.
Wait, what the fuck did I miss by not watching MMA?
Oh
shit! There he is.
I thought we were talking about Phil Baroni again. It's Brad Trolltruck. What are you doing there?
I just imagine Brad walks in looking like IRS, like straight up the whole get up.
He's got to have the short sleeve.
The whole get up. Sits his briefcase down, jumps on the podcast.
Hey, I've got the glass of scotch. I'm just chilling outside because it's a beautiful night here, and I figured I would jump on and listen to you guys talk about a little bit of MMA.
We're mostly talking about hogs, though, so I hope that doesn't bum you out too much.
I mean, is there anything else to MMA than hogs? Let's be honest.
Not recently.
There is when Phil Baroni posts one of the largest measured hogs on a Caucasian man
in Caucasian history.
Yeah.
Oh man.
I'm gonna have to. I'm jumping on right now and taking a look at this.
So you missed Khabib.
Do some investigating.
Khabib's cousin lost as a minus 1350 favorite, and then Jake Shields lost as a minus 1400 favorite.
Nice.
Back to back.
Jake Shields landed like one punch in the fight.
And just got bashed on.
It was literally a 10-8 first round, and that was going to be a 10-8 second round, and then they called it.
Who was he fighting?
Ray Cooper III, supposedly. It's the son of a guy that Jake Shields fought like 10 years ago.
Yeah, Ray Cooper the second.
Oh, he fought that dude? Hey, it's weird because I actually know who that dude is.
Brad knows this guy.
Of course he does, because it's Brad.
He fought him in Super Brawl, man.
Yep.
Out in Hawaii.
Yep. Now he fought his son, and his son beat the living shit out of Jake Shields.
Can't wait till Jake Shields fights Ray Cooper the fourth. It's gonna be a hell.
Revenge is a dish best served 20 years later.
Yep.
Holy shit, that's hilarious.
Yeah. Plus,
how has PFL been? I haven't watched it at all.
Great.
Really.
It and the Contender Series are the best thing going in MMA right now.
Well, the Contender Series is always awesome. You know, just the pace and, you know, I feel like it's been a lot of mismatches on Contenders. I've gone back and seen a couple of those so far this year, but even still, that shit's fun to watch.
PFL, the pacing is quite quick too, and there's been some big upsets and some good fights.
Good, even.
How do we even watch that in Canada, Sean?
Facebook.
Oh yeah,
Facebook,
social media
for the prelims, and then anywhere other than the US, it's on the main cards on Facebook.
Huh?
Yeah,
nice,
interesting stuff, Brad. While you figure out what Facebook is, you do some investigating about Phil Baroni, and Wes will continue talking about Curtis Millender.
Yeah. So. Well, I was on Max Griffin against Mike Perry. I thought that was a really good spot, man. He was like around plus 250 or something like that in that fight. I I thought it was a good fade of Perry, and we'll be talking about maybe another one later. But yeah, Millender lately, man, has gotten it going, right? I mean, he had some pretty just kind of bad losses early in his career in Bellator and shit, man. But the past couple of years, he's beat some pretty good guys, Kevin Holland and Matthew. I can't even pronounce his last name, but he was just on the Tuesday Night Contender Series last week or the week before. So yeah, man, Miller's coming on. Decent KO win against Thiago Alves. I think he went to rather easily. The line's kind of creeped up a little bit now. I think like minus 170 or something. I think it's still pretty worth it. I like Millender. I think he's got some talent. Still only 30 years old, which is, I don't know how it's kind of hard to look at age in the MMA game now. You kind of got to look at the fight. So still fairly young in the game, but yeah, I like Millender here.
Yeah, I got both these guys a C-. I think this is another good one. It's going to be pretty much striking. I don't see this being fought on the ground at all. I lean towards Millender because I just like his length for this weight class. He fights really well at distance, and I think Griffin could struggle here, with that length. I think Griffin took advantage of Mike Perry with his length, because Perry is one of the smallest guys in that welterweight division, but now he's facing one of the longest guys in the division. So I think it's going to kind of get reversed on him, and I think that Curtis Millender will get the job done. Moving up, Brad, I assume you're still doing research.
Oh man, that is an absolute unit.
With the nice curve on the
fucking
end.
thing's got its own fucking social security number, dude. I'm telling you.
I mean, Baroni is a guy who definitely would have enhancements.
Oh man,
He carrying a fucking child between his legs.
absolute legend. Wow, this man.
It just continues to grow.
Well, it's growing right now.
That thing's like got weight class, and dude said absolute weight class.
That's the thing.
That's a
Sean, do not tell me you're betting on Lando Venata against Drakkar Klose.
Hell
Don't
no.
tell me that.
Hell no.
Smart.
I think Venata he peaked in almost beating Tony Ferguson on one day's notice. He did do a pretty sweet thing against John McDessie with that wheel kick, but I think he's kind of got figured out by guys now. Drakkar Klose says he lost his last time out. It was against David Tamer. That's not a terrible loss, but I think he's just going to continue growing. I mean, he's a dog. He's an absolute mutt. So how can you not take him when he's a mutt and he trains at the lab?
Oh, sorry, Sean. I had to get it out.
Salzman, you're up.
Yeah, how can you not like be sitting over in the corner with a plate of spaghetti in your lap and not like fucking close hair as a mangy mutt?
Mangy.
Yeah, I think Sean's right that Venata kind of has maybe peaked, and he's flashy and fun, but there's just not a lot of substance there when shit gets tough. And I think Klose is just, man, he's being a little underrated after a tough loss to a guy that I think we all think is pretty damn good. So yeah, man, at this price, yeah, I'm taking that shot as well. I like Klose in this fight. It's a bet.
I got Venata a C, Klose a C-. I think this though is pretty close. Venata definitely a way more creative striker, but just Klose's style is difficult for fighters to deal with, and even though he can be outclassed, he continues to push, and he makes it difficult. He makes difficult fights. He's kind of like a classic lab dog. I'll leave it at that. I'll take Venata because I have like a weird feeling he's going to win one of those dynamic KOs he's capable of, but he could easily lose a decision as well. especially if I could definitely see him getting tired late against Closa, who's really going to push in the third round if it's 1-1. If it's 1-1, Closa wins this fight, in my opinion. He'll definitely win the third.
Let me just say that the Labrador Retriever is going to go fetch himself a decision win here.
There it is.
Interesting. Next up,
Rangy up this motherfucker.
we got Rob Font, another Boston guy. There's been a few that we've talked about today. Taking on maybe the most underrated fighter in the bantamweight division, Rafael Assunção. New Sean, are you going to tell me Font wins this fight?
I don't think so. I am worried about Assunção. He is getting up there in age. We know kind of how the younger fighters, they seem to fall off. This will be his 32nd fight. He's 35 years old. But there's nothing that has shown him to slow down. He seems to be his same old self. He doesn't have crazy power. He did get a finish last fight. That was his first finish in like 6 years. He is what he is. I always do worry when they do get old, though. Rob Font, I think he's a little bit overpriced now because he was able to murder Thomas Almeida last time out, so I think he's kind of getting hyped up for that. I'm gonna pick Assunção, and I'm leaning towards a bet, but I do worry about that age fall off.
Sodsman, I think you're gonna have a different opinion.
No.
He's just a more on the on this Assunção.
Yeah, I think Assunção's being absolutely overlooked here, man. He's one of the best guys in the division. I don't get the line here. I mean, yeah, he's getting a little up there in age, but it ain't like he's been in these brawls or anything, especially lately. And I mean, his last 3 wins are very good. I mean, the Moraes win, as close as it was, I mean, that's a huge win now. Looking at that, that's one of the better wins in the division, in my opinion, because I think Moraes is almost top dog at this point. So, yeah, I really like Assunção here. I played the minus 165 straight. I think he's like minus 170 now or something. I'll probably put him in a little parlay with something as well. I really like him in the spot. I think Font's being completely overrated by taking out a guy that we know now has a pretty bad chin to begin with. So, yeah, Assunção all day for me.
Yeah, I have Rob Font a B-, Assunção an A-. I think this is a gift. This might be one of the better gifts on the entire card, if not, maybe the biggest gift overall on this fight card. Simply because, Wes is right. Font definitely being overrated for his win over Thomas Almeida. Almeida, absolutely a gifted striker, but defensively he's like a D-. Stands really tall, keeps his chin exposed. It's not a good combination for long-term success in MMA. Almeida beat up a lot of cans, and once he started facing fighters that actually, could strike, he really started to, show his true colors and definitely stagnated. So Font took advantage of that, and now he's facing a guy in Rafael Assunção who's already fought many of the top strikers in the weight division. He's fought TJ Dillashaw multiple times. He has an art. He's got a very close, partially controversial decision win over Marlon Moraes. I know many thought that Assunção lost this fight, but the fact that it was as close as it was tells you a lot about him and his ability. And quite frankly, Rob Font is nowhere near the striker that Marlon Moraes is, and now he's Assunção. Great counter striker to begin with. I think he'll do well. He could even mix in a few takedowns potentially. This is just a different class. Font's gonna have to take on a guy like Assunção. I don't see Font winning this fight. Assunção wins. I think he's excellent parlay piece, potentially with someone up on the main card that we'll get to in a few minutes. Bradley, do you have any thoughts on this bout?
I do, actually. I agree with what you guys are saying in terms of the skill level, the experience level, everything like that. But I think the style actually favors Font a little bit, just in the sense that, yes, Asuncao has done really well against all the top strikers in the division, but Font, he's only really struggled against guys who are willing to push forwards, put that pressure on him. Obviously, he looked like a scared little bitch against John Lineker. As soon as Munoz stepped on the gas, he got him in danger as well and managed to snatch that guillotine. But Asuncao isn't that type of fighter. We know that Asuncao is going to sit back, he's going to look to counter, and that was successful in spots against Dillashaw, it was successful in spots against Moraes. But Font is a lot longer than both of those guys. He uses his range really well, so I think there's going to be some definite periods in this fight where Font is dictating everything, and Asuncao is not even going to have a chance to answer back because it's all going to be kicks, it's all going to be stuff from the outsides, and Asuncao is not going to be able to get into those exchanges that he was able to do against Moraes and against some of the other guys that he's had success against. So I think it's a very, very close fight. I can see why people are betting Font. I'm not going to bet the money line personally, but if I was taking anything in this fight, it would probably be Font decision. It's like plus 350. He's not finishing Asuncao, but Asuncao is about that age at bantamweight where you start to see the drop off. I looked at the same sort of thing with Benavidez a couple weeks ago, and I think this could be a definite spot where Font takes advantage.
Good points.
Yeah.
I think that's the way it happens. If it does, you're right. He ain't going to finish him. Could see him getting 2 rounds, though. You're right. That's a good price at decision.
TV headliner. We got Uriah Hall doing Uriah Hall things, taking on one of Bradley's favorites, Little Drunk.
Oh,
Sean.
Little Drunk.
I actually sprinkled on Uriah Hall at plus 330.
Go away.
You hate yourself.
I am still not convinced that Little Drunk is a thing. He definitely was able to beat the shit out of the ghost of Johnny Hendricks. He did crush Bang Bus and Gareth McClellan, but I want to see him against a real striker, and I know Uriah Hall does some dumb shit things and just goes into a shell sometimes, but he was able to knock out Jotko last time out, pull that out. 330 seems high to me, but maybe a Little Drunk just absolutely just bodies him. But I'll sprinkle on that price to find out.
Let's see what the Sodsman has to say.
Yeah, Little Drunk's gonna knock him out, man. But I can understand it, man. Because I kind of feel the same way that I'm not 100% sold on Little Drunk yet. His wins, there's some question marks there, but it's fucking Uriah Hall, man. He was doing interviews yesterday talking about some old otherworldly shit. Again, life after fighting, and he ain't no fighter, man. He ain't never been a fighter. I don't know why he fights. I don't get it. The dude's, you talk about low self-esteem. I don't know what fucking Uriah Hall's doing, but I am with Sean to the point that there's some questions still around Little Drunk, and we've seen Uriah Hall do crazier, rat shit and Calcutta shit. So I actually threw in a little parlay fight doesn't go. The decision at like minus 280, I think it was. It's really chalky, but I can't see this going to a decision. If Little Drunk wins, he's going to knock out Hall. I think if Hall wins, he's going to catch him with something. So I don't see it going to a decision, but I'm picking Little Drunk here. He's going to knock out Uriah Hall. That dude can go on a surfboard somewhere or something.
I got Little Drunk a C+, Uriah Hall a C. Wes is right here again. Uriah Hall, he was bullied as a kid, but as soon as he started to realize he could hurt people, he's got all scared and realized he doesn't really want to fight. He wants to just be a martial artist and do art and not hurt people and fight. That's how I see him. And he's facing a guy who's literally a battering ram. That's how he comes at you, and he just throws just freaking leather.
He's going to have to fight, ain't he?
Yeah, he's going to have to fight, or he's going to be plowed, and I think he's going to be plowed more than a Canadian snowstorm. So I like little drunk here. He's going to win in under 7.5 minutes. How about that?
Oh shit!
Ooh. Or whoever Phil Baroni. He's going to be plowed more than whoever Phil Baroni's laying with tonight.
Bradford.
Yeah, nothing really to add here. Uriah Hall, his Hail Mary is throwing something out there, some Street Fighter shit out there, and landing it and winning the fight. And we've seen him do it a couple times, but I think it's pretty unlikely here. He's just gonna see what Little Drunk's bringing at him, and he's gonna shell up and get squashed.
Yeah, he is. Main card. This is where things get interesting. We got MMA Analysis kind of a fight here. Gokhan Saki taking on Khalil Roundtree Jr., Nushan. Who wins this fight, and how long does it go?
I think Saki, and I would be surprised if it goes longer than 4 minutes. This is going to be, for however long this lasts, this is going to be a hell of a fight. Just the styles. Roundtree is a stand-up fighter. Obviously, Saki is. I do worry a bit if it does go longer than that. Saki might be in trouble. That gas tank looked real bad in his last fight. He was able to take enough punches and just throw him back to knock out old Henrique da Silva. But if he gasses like that against Roundtree, it might be definitely a worse result. So I don't like it enough to bet Saki, but I think he knocks him out just because Roundtree is going to want a stand-up fight. So we'll see.
So, Osmond, is this going to go even shorter than what Nushan claims it's going to go?
I don't know. He's probably close to about right. I know Roundtree was saying in interviews today that Saki's never been hit by somebody like him, and I kind of had to just chuckle a little bit considering Saki's been in there with like the best K1 kickboxers walking the planet. Everybody, name a heavyweight kickboxer, and Saki has fought him multiple times. So, yeah, Sean's completely right here. I mean, Saki should knock him out, but man, if you saw him in that first fight, I don't know if it was just gas tank. You want to think it was a little bit of nerves, but like then you're like, Saki ain't gonna have nerves in any kind of fight. But was this first like huge, MMA fight for a big promotion, but man, he looked rough by the end of that round. Yeah. So, I'm going to pick Saki here, but I would be very hesitant to bet him here just because if he does gas, Roundtree does have a couple rounds of cardio, and I just don't know if Saki does in an MMA fight.
Yeah. I got Saki at D+, Roundtree at D. Roundtree's in trouble here. He's clueless. Here are some of the guys that Gokhan Saki has faced. I'll name a few. Name just a few. Ray Steffo. Okay. Tyrone Spong.
That's all you guys say, right?
Melvin Manhoff. Rico Verhoeven. I mean,
Batter Hari,
Overeem, yeah. I mean, the list goes on.
The Ubereem version.
Yeah, not Ubereem. He fought Ubereem. Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, he lost that fight, to be fair, but I mean, he's got wins over some legendary fighters. I mean, this is even so. I mean,
usually outweighed by him by like 40 pounds and shit. Like Saki was the small heavyweight in all of those fights. All of those dudes outweighed him by 30, 40 pounds.
Yep.
Yeah, it's crazy. And Roundtree thinks that he's on a different level. Yeah, okay. This fight is not going to the ground at all. It's going to be a stand-up battle until somebody drops, and Saki is just way more talented and technically gifted than anyone Roundtree has ever fought in his entire career. So this fight goes 2 minutes and 44 seconds. How about that? And Roundtree goes down, and that will be the fight. Gokhan Saki wins. Brad?
This is going to decision.
Oh, come on, Brad.
I love it.
If it was anyone but Gokhan Saki, who you know is just going to come forward and do ridiculous shit all fight, then there's a very real chance. But I have to think that this is going to see a finish. Roundtree has shown a pretty good chin, but Saki's able to find finishes, especially when you're talking about MMA and MMA gloves that a lot of guys aren't able to find. So we haven't seen that yet, obviously, because he's only had a couple of MMA fights, but I truly believe that's going to be the case. So as much as I might just throw a little contrarian money on fight goes to decision, it's like plus 400 now. I have to think that there's going to be a stoppage in this one.
Saki minus 130, Saki by KO plus 105.
That's right.
So what you're saying is Saki by decision is the bet.
Yeah. Round robin. That's the round robin bet for sure.
Yeah, it is.
Chiesa, Anthony Pettis, next up on the pay-per-view card, lightweight battle, Nushan.
Anthony Pettis is so shot.
Correct.
He still can't stop a takedown. Michael Chiesa can get takedowns, and I'm guessing Chiesa is going to win the decision. It's going to be somewhat boring because Pettis is decent enough on his back that unless he's getting smashed, he doesn't really give up subs. So I'll take Chiesa by decision, which is like plus 260. I'm thinking about sprinkling on it.
Sosman. Is there going to be a rear naked choke in this bout?
A possibility, but I kind of lean more to exactly what Sean's saying. Pettis is just, man, he fell off a cliff, dude. And still, I mean, one of the greatest mysteries in MMA history would be how Anthony Pettis trained with Ben Askren for a decade and still can't wrestle. Still can't stop a takedown.
It's like Shields it's like Shields training with the Diaz brothers, never figuring out how to strike.
yeah, it'll be one of the great mysteries in MMA history. Chiesa get takedowns at will here. Like Sean said though, Pettis usually doesn't give up subs when he's not being, smashed into giving one up, and Chiesa's more of a, work subs and work position over throwing strikes. Maybe he catches him with something late, but I really like Chiesa in this spot, and he's a bet for me.
Yeah, I got both these guys at B-, and I'm on the same train. I like Chiesa here, simply because he can get Pettis to the ground, and his body lock is just super tight that he's going to wear Pettis out. And I think he eventually gets the sub. I think he's one of the best in the sport from that back position, and it's almost impossible to get out of that. You never actually see folks get out of that. They have to wait till the bell. I can see Chiesa doing this at least twice, but I think ultimately he'll find the neck, and Pettis will have to tap. So I'm going to take Mike Chiesa, and I think he'll do so by sub. Brad?
I think Chiesa wins this fight as well. I still want to see Pettis come back to what he was, but it's obviously just never going to happen at this point. But at the same time, we've never really seen somebody dominate him other than taking him down and just being able to sort of control him from the guard and smash him up a little bit with ground and pound. We've never seen somebody really be able to pass his guard with ease, get dominant positions, hold them. So I'd be surprised if Chiesa's that guy, because Pettis has faced some really good grapplers along the way. It wasn't that long ago that he out-grappled De Bronx, and got that sub. So I don't think that Pettis is going to get a sub or anything in this one because Kies is more controlled. He's not going to leave those openings. But I don't think Kies is just going to be able to blow him out of the water on the ground. So I'm leaning decision like the other two guys there.
Fair enough. Now you're going to see a brawl. We got Paul Felder taking on Jackson Winklejohn's latest fighter, Platinum Mike. New Sean. You think he learned anything from John Jones?
How to do rails even better? That's about it. I don't know. I haven't played anything in this fight. The one thing I'm eyeing is possibly fight goes to the decision at plus 140. Mikey Platts, I don't think his brain is big enough to get knocked out. Felder has shown a pretty damn good chin. He only finished is more of an accumulation of damage when old Grandpa Trinaldo put it on him. As for who's gonna win, I don't know. Felder's usually the guy that, like, if you're fighting him, you're jabbing him, you're doing a smart game plan, and then he shows his angry face and he wants you to come at him and stuff like that. And that's what Mikey Platts is going to give him. Mike Perry's going to just come forward, and this is going to be a brawl. I'll take Perry because he's the natural welterweight, but as Wes will tell you, that Felder looked pretty damn big when he didn't have to cut weight, so I'm not sure there's going to be much of a size difference, but there might be a power difference. So Perry should stay in there long enough, even if his defense is terrible. His chin is granite from what we've seen, and maybe he'll be able to put it on Felder and later in the fight and grab a decision.
Sodsman, tell me that Felder wins.
Man, I actually really like Felder in this fight. I mean, like Sean said, man, Felder does best when somebody's coming at him. Mike Perry's coming right at him. Perry is he's a moron in real life, and he's almost a moron in the cage because he knows no better. You know what I'm saying? He just knows to come forward. And I mean, what he does well. You know what I'm saying? He's got hellacious power and, you know, good technique for the few things he does throw. You know, he throws them well. But man, Felder is the far superior striker here. Perry even pointed out the size difference in their stare down. I mean, Felder was way bigger than him. I think it's going to be Perry's. He's going to get knocked out this time. I just think Felder catches him with some nice counter and gets him out of there eventually. Perry's been rocked up in his past couple fights, and we know how Felder hasn't really cared in the past. But man, his past two fights are very, very impressive. And man, I was lucky and got a little bit on and had a little bit in my bet online account when they opened Felder at plus 230. So I grabbed a little of that. That's one of the dumbest lines that I've seen in a while. I think he might have even opened up slight plus money on 5 times and stuff when they opened him. But still, minus 155. I still like that. I think this is a fairly easy fight for Felder. I might be completely wrong, and maybe Perry catches him with something and knocks him out. But like Sean said, Felder's got a granite chin too. I think Felder's the far more technical striker here, and I think he wins pretty easy here. I think he knocks Perry out. So yeah, Felder all day for me, especially at that plus 230. That's just a crazy line.
Yeah, I got Felder a C at welterweight, Perry a C minus. Wes talked about the size difference. That certainly is the case. What also you can see here is Felder even potentially scoring a takedown or two and then just elbowing Perry into oblivion from that position. There could be a couple of scary moments on the feet if Perry does land because he does possess pretty big power. But Felder is way more technically gifted than Perry ever is and ever will be. And I just like his momentum at this point. He's riding a pretty good run of form, and I think that certainly will, that certainly helps more than it hinders. Brad, is Platinum Mike going to get back on the winning track? Is he going to have to go back to the Florida swamps and have to sulk?
He's going to have to kick more watermelons and maybe beat up his girlfriend some more and
step on an alligator.
Yeah, whatever they do down there, right? So I think the big thing that held Felder back at lightweight is the guy's not a very good athlete. Like, he was usually the significantly slower fighter in every fight that he was in. He made it through because he's super fucking tough. He's really technical, and he's not going to really have that problem against Perry. He's going to move up to welterweight. I don't necessarily think he's going to be faster than Perry, but I think it's going to be at least on the same par. Size-wise, I'm not too concerned with that. Perry, I think he's got a little bit more power, but we've seen guys moving up in weight. Chin really isn't a concern unless they're like Cerrone or something and on the downslope already, and I don't think Felder's at that point. So I just think it's going to come out to be his technique is going to win him a decision in this fight. It's possible that he scores a knockout, but I think it's just going to be a fun 15 minutes of Perry coming forward, throwing wild shit, and Felder eating a couple, but being able to answer back more often than not.
Fair enough. Co-main event time. We know there's some people who want to talk about this one.
He's back, baby.
We'll start. I think it's only fair to start with the Sodsman here.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Co-main event, heavyweight bout. Yes, Brad?
Do you think that Ngannou is going to be okay to take part in this fight, or do you think that Baroni's tweet was an intimidation tactic on the on behalf of the Black Beast?
I think it's more of a motivational tweet, I believe.
There you go.
We got Derek the Black Beast Lewis taking on Francis Hawganalysis. Sodsman, I know you're happy. Your pants may already be flying around. They may have made their way to the Churchill Downs without you. Tell me more.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited for my boy to be back. I know after that tough loss to Stipe, he was talking about taking quite a bit of time off. But Derek Lewis did well and talked him his way into getting a fight with him, and I think he made a very bad mistake, honestly. Look, I've never really thought much of Derek Lewis. I think he's achieved more than probably what he should have. I think he does work at it pretty hard, but I mean, dude, just some of the wins he has, I don't think much of. Just some of the performances he has, I still think he's a fat tub of shit that absolutely gasses. I mean, I just can't see him bulldogging Hagano here and being on top of him, raining down blows. I will give him that if he gets on top of you and mounts. But that's any heavyweight, right? I mean, any guy that's 260 pounds, if he mounts, should be able to smash somebody. So I just can't see that here, man. I think this is just two different levels of fighter. I think Hagano gets back on track here, man. I think he knocks out Derek Lewis. I don't know if it's early. I think he might try to shake off the rust a little. And Lewis is tough, man. He can take a little bit. But, man, if you think Derek Lewis is like a talented heavyweight fighter, I don't know what to tell you, man. I don't know what you're watching. Hagano all day for me here. I think he gets back on track, and I think he's there for a title shot again. And We talked about it just a couple of weeks ago when blades fall. I think those are two of the most, probably the two young, talented heavyweights in the division. I think those guys are going to scrap a couple more times before it's all said and done. It's going to be for a belt too. So, Hagano gets back on track here and starts working his way back towards another title shot.
All right, New Sean, are you on the? What's up?
Sorry, I did. I parlayed Hagano and also Hagano by TK. Those are the bets.
New Sean, are you on that same train?
I mean, how could you not? This is a tough matchup for Derek Lewis. Derek Lewis doesn't really have one-shot kill power at heavyweight.
Are you sure?
The way he beats guys, I mean, he can drop you. It's not usually a kill shot, and usually the way he's winning is kind of swarming you on the ground, just kind of out of attrition. He gasses. I don't think he's going to be able to take down Ngannou. It's a tough matchup. Francis Ngannou should be able to, use his striking. He definitely, I think he has a way better gas tank than Lewis. He's much more calm in there, takes his time, and he'll fend off any kind of takedown that Lewis has. I think it's just going to be a brawl, and I think Hagano is much cleaner striker and has much more power. I took Hagano by TKO at -130. I think that's a steal of a price. I don't think he's subbing Derek Lewis. If he gets him down, I think he's going to smash him. I mean, he has a sub in there, but come on, he's going to rain down punches. So getting Ngannou at TKO at -130 is insane to me. So I took that for as much as I could.
Oh, they opened fight doesn't go decision at -195 on 5 dimes.
That's crazy.
Oof.
That's crazy.
That's like -400 or something now. But yeah, that was just crazy. I got that in a little something as well.
I got Lewis B-, Ngannou A-. Outside of the power, there's just a mega speed advantage for Ngannou. Lewis, he's had his moments for sure, and he's at his best when he gets a fighter to the mat and is able to ground and pound. But he's got to get that fight there first, and Ngannou is going to be really strong, at least in the first 5 minutes, from at least defending those takedowns, if there isn't any attempted, and just his speed and movement to set up just heavy bomb punches. I think it's going to be too much for Lewis, and he's going to get TKO'd. I'm not even TKO'd, he's going to get KO'd. I still can't get that image of Lewis getting KO'd by Matt Mitrione in under a minute out of my head.
Yep.
And Ngannou throws a lot harder than Matt Mitrione, so I'll take Ngannou. I'll take him by KO as well, bet by KO.
So we were there, Jay.
Yeah,
that's the fight we were at. We were like, what the fuck? Because we saw fucking Mitrione at the club the night before, so we bet against him.
Yeah.
That motherfucker.
Brad. Derek Lewis's best attributes are that he doesn't quit.
He overcomes sometimes.
Sometimes he overcomes.
Yeah.
I don't think he's particularly durable. I think he's like slightly above average durability for a heavyweight. Doesn't quit, and that's about it. And I'll give him credit. Against the majority of heavyweights, he is a superior athlete, which is sad, but that's heavyweight. So in this fight, he's facing a guy who he's a far inferior athlete to, and it doesn't matter if he quits or not, because he's going to get his fucking lights turned out. This is just, it's going to be ugly for him. I don't see a path to success for Derek Lewis. He's not going to ragdoll. Like, he doesn't have any actual takedowns. He just outstrengths guys to get them to the ground. And that's just not going to happen against the Hog. He's going to get stranded on his feet, and he's just going to get blown up.
Like, really, what kind of discernible technique have we seen out of Derek Lewis in takedowns or in his wrestling, any of it? He literally, just like you said, he wears guys down to the ground. You know what I'm saying? And lays on them. It doesn't have like one shot kill power, like Sean said. Yeah, he's in for it here, man.
He gets less tired than his opponents.
Yep.
And then gets on top of them in round 2 or 3 and lands a bunch of big shots. And that's what's going to happen if you get on top of a heavyweight in round 2 or 3. It's just that's heavyweight MMA. So it's not happening. Not happening. I think Hawganalysis by TKO is minus 145 now. That's still a great price.
Yep.
And yes, that is our consensus bet of the week. Francis Hawganalysis by KO TKO and Nushan. What is that price now? Minus 145.
That is correct.
There's the bet. Francis Ngannou by KO minus 145. Main event time. Since there is no other, since our other title fight was already canceled, down to 1. But there are actually 2 title fighters in the fight, so I guess that's something. Light heavyweight champion Daniel.
John Jones is back.
Sorta, kind of. He's in Daniel Cormier's head, so I guess that counts.
He's been around. He never went anywhere, right?
Yeah, he's been there for years. Light heavyweight champion Daniel Cormier taking on heavyweight champion Stipe Miocic. Main event, big pay-per-view for the heavyweight title. Let's start with Nushan. What do you got?
I think Stipe is going to knock out Daniel Cormier. I know. I think a couple of the guys here aren't going to agree with me and think there's value on DC, but I just don't like what I've been seeing with Cormier in his last couple fights. He got kind of clipped by Volkan early. Jones obviously obliterated him. He took rumble shots. I mean, he was stumbling across the cage a bit. And then way back in the Gustafsson fight, he did get dropped there. He's definitely accumulating damage, and he's 39 years old. That's it's not a good combination. I know he did have a lot of success early in his career as a heavyweight, but I think Stipe is a much different heavyweight. Stipe is a decent enough wrestler that I think he'll be able to fight the takedowns. And if it's on the feet, I think he has enough power that he can put Cormier's lights out fairly early. If it goes a bit longer, I mean, it does get a little more interesting, but I think Stipe gets him early and out of there. I played doesn't go decision at, what did I take it at? Minus 125, because I think Stipe gets him out of there.
Sodsman, what do you think?
Yeah, I kind of had everything, worked out and thought out until this. I mean, I don't know why we're so plagued as MMA fans. I mean, we lose the Max fight, and then, so after the press conference, fucking DC trips over a speaker wire or something that's right next to him, and it seriously he limps off, and then. Well, they're reporting he said his leg's kind of hurting, but it's not going to stop him from fighting. And then, Snowden tweets out, however much you want to believe it, that, he heard that his legs hurt. You know what I'm saying? So take that for what you will. I mean, if DC's got a leg injury now, I mean, I don't know what to think anymore. I mean, I think he's already at a little disadvantage just by the size. Coming in, I mean, if the leg's fine, I like DC here, especially at 2-1. I mean, like Sean said, that's absolute value. Early, it is going to be a little sketchy, man. Yeah, DC has he's taking a little damage. I mean, Stipe's 35 now with 20 fights too, and he's been in a couple pretty tough fights, but. Nothing like DC has after the 2 Jones fights. So, but if this gets going later, which I think it will, I think DC's the better wrestler. He's smaller, but I think he's the far better wrestler here. I think he's got better hands. I think he's got a far better gas tank. So if he can get this into the third, fourth, and fifth, I think he's got a really good shot to win here. And at 2-1, I'll take that chance here. So I'm going to go with DC at this moment. I actually haven't made the bet yet. Was seeing if the line got better because DC kept creeping up little by little. So I'm going to try to wait it out at least till Saturday and see if any kind of news comes out about the leg, because if he's got any kind of leg injury, I don't like that at all, going against a guy that's probably going to have 20, 25 pounds on him.
I got both guys an A+. This is a really important fight. I'd say even more so for Miocic than it is for Cormier. Because Cormier, I think, has already solidified his place in MMA history as being, second best in his division and maybe second best or third best of anybody at heavyweight or light heavyweight all time, while Miocic, even though he's got all these wins, I still don't know if he's really truly earned the respect. Even with the Hagano win, it's weird. I just don't
underrated,
think
man.
I guess I guess that's the right word.
He is. You're right. You're definitely right about that, Sean. He is.
There's just, for some reason, he doesn't get the same due that guy, like Junior Dos Santos got, or even Kane, and some other guys before that. So this is really important for Miocic. This is a tricky fight for a lot of reasons, because I think Wes kind of hit this very early on. It's definitely going to be very difficult for Cormier. Miocic certainly, his power is decent. It's not all world by any standard, but he's got good technical ability. He can hurt people. He's not going to just throw one punch. He can definitely throw in combination. You would think, though, as the fight wears on, if it gets to the third round or even later, you have to think Cormier has an advantage there. He's fought these long fights before. He's had a lot of success in that regard, and he's kind of got that wrestling mentality. He's going to have to try to wear Miocic out, get into kind of tight spaces, and not fight at range, and just make Miocic work. So I think the best way to bet this fight, honestly, is either you bet Miocic from the get-go, or you bet Cormier later on. You live bet maybe after round 2 or something like that. Even after round 3, if need be. I don't think betting Cormier early on is really that smart, because I think it's very difficult to see him winning in the first or even the second round of this fight. So you might as well just wait until later on, where you have a clearer angle on this. And with his leg thing that's come up, if who knows how that really is. So I think you got to wait a little closer as well to fight time to get it to be able to better assess that situation as well. Brad.
Yeah, I agree with you that Stipe is definitely underrated. He's at this point. Holy shit! I got a pressure washer plugged in on my deck, and it just decided to beep at me and let me know.
Brad was powering up his suit.
That was the vacuum. You can stick your shit in that later, dude.
I'm gonna call him Tax Man. Jesus.
I think at this point he's probably one of the most underrated fighters in MMA history. It's kind of ridiculous that the guy still doesn't get any sort of real respect for what he's done. That said, I see his advantages in this fight. He's going to be a bit bigger. Definitely got more power in terms of striking. But I see some serious disadvantages for him, too. When Cormier comes in, if Stipe goes for the counter and doesn't land it flush and doesn't really earn his respect to stop him from moving forward, when they get in the clinch, I know that Stipe is going to have... I think it's probably going to be about 15 pounds difference. I think it's going to be like 245, 250 for Stipe, 230, 235 for Cormier in terms of the weights. But does anyone really think that Stipe is going to move Cormier around all that much in the clinch? Like, if they get in there, it's going to be Cormier wearing them down, Cormier controlling those positions. We've seen the work rate that Cormier puts in when he's in the clinch, and basically the only reason that he's not the actual light heavyweight champion is because he was going up against a guy who is the greatest clinch fighter in the history of MMA. The guy that does just the wildest shit from the clinch. So I think that if Stipe wins, he lands something early, he knocks him out. But if that doesn't happen, we've seen Stipe get tired, even in fights that he's winning. In that Hawganalysis fight, he was dominating that shit, and he still got tired. And I know he was doing work, but this is going to be a fight where he's not going to be able to do that same sort of work and control those grappling exchanges. He's going to have it coming right back at him. So I think that Cormier is actually going to pull this off. I think he's going to have it competitive in the early rounds, because I don't think any heavyweight is capable of moving around, sticking and moving, keeping the distance for that long, especially with the kind of pressure that Cormier is going to put on. And those early rounds, they might go to Stipe just because he's landing the better shots. But as this fight wears on, I think it's going to move towards Cormier. And if Stipe doesn't get him out of there early, I don't think he's going to have the power later on to finish him off. So rounds 3, 4, 5, I think are going to be Cormier's rounds. So unless there's a knockout early from Stipe, I think Cormier is going to be a fake champ.
Hey, what's so crazy is if DC does pull this off, like he is a champ in two division, holds two belts at the same time, which is pretty incredible. But people are still gonna look at him and be like, "Nah." I know I will. I'm still gonna look at him and be like, "Nah." And it's crazy because I think DC
John
is
Jones is gonna
like,
beat you at heavyweight too.
Yeah,
That's exactly what
he would. But it's like, it's so crazy because I think DC does win that. I still think DC is maybe a top 5, 6, or 7 all-time MMA fighter. Like, I would literally put him that high, and he still is going to have the shadow of fucking John Jones over him for the rest of his life. Period. Yep. And I don't care. I'll say it again. Fuck you, everybody with the steroid. I don't care about none of that. That steroids don't teach you how to throw head kicks that knocked out DC. It's crazy. I think DC, I respect the dude. I think he's all time great. Still, he's still gonna have that cloud.
Yep. He's just John Jones is 10 years young, or like 8 years younger than him or something, and he'll always be his daddy though.
That's right.
Like we said earlier, I mean, he's been fucking right in his head for 7 years now, 6 years.
He's the greatest fighter, and he's the greatest trash talker too. He's got both going.
Yep.
That's why he's the best. That certainly does it for our.
Yep.
That certainly does it for our fight coverage.
Good card. That's going to be a fun card.
Is there other coverage that? I mean, you specified fight coverage, but like, do we got to talk about other shit?
Well, you missed the good parts earlier.
We done touched on the Baroni surprise tonight.
We talked about some Joey Chestnut debauchery.
Yeah.
We covered that. I told him, Brad, they need to start putting like some kind of biodegradable chips in every wiener. So
digital counting.
So we can count exactly how many wieners and buns are going down.
And how many wieners and buns they're just gobbling.
Oh, shit. Over $1 million bet on that shit.
I am glad that I start work at 3:30 though, because I got to watch the world's greatest sporting competition before I headed in, so I got to see everything go down. It was the spectacle that we all wanted it to be,
except for the chaos.
Yeah,
that's what I mean. It was the spectacle we all wanted it to be. They knew that the competition itself didn't have all that much drama this year, so They knew that Stoney was off, and Chinkati is never going to challenge the crown, so they had to throw something else in there to keep our attention.
The old curveball.
Yep,
definitely a curveball.
Yeah, you'll never get. I said it after last year, but hell, you'll never get lines on greatest living American like you even did this
like
year.
we did in 2016.
Yeah, well, I mean that was crazy. Coming off the divorce, we talked about that earlier. They thought he was done coming off the divorce and shit, and he was like on a mission and thrashed everybody. We got some like great prices. Like the over under was like 62 dogs or something, and he ate like 70.
70, yep. Yeah. Oh.
They put a -4.5 dog handicap on him against Cincinnati or whatever the dude's name is, -165. 4.5 dogs, he beat him by like 25.
Yeah, something like that. Or more. Yeah, somewhere in that neighborhood.
That's like 25 or some shit. Yeah, you're never going to see, like, they think all these young up-and-comers, these fucking Jersey boys and shit are going to come up there and beat the champ.
Yeah, wow.
Never happened.
Nope. You got to put in work in this game. You got to earn your stripes.
Yeah, you certainly do. Your body certainly, your body has to earn it.
What's crazy is those other motherfuckers are like crazy eaters, like fucking the other dude that you just said, who's the other popular guy?
Stoney?
He does all those videos and shit and just can thrash food, dude, and just nothing compared to fucking Joey Jones, like not even close.
Nope.
Like that dude's otherworldly, man.
Yeah, he's on another planet.
Once in a generation talent right there.
Yeah, definitely is. Have some respect, Brad, for your American
This one start playing the Hulk Hogan song every time he comes out.
Yeah, right.
Like it just starts playing when that motherfucker walks in a room.
Oh man, I missed you guys. It's good being back.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
If only you were normal and work normal work hours, you could do this every once in a while.
That'd be nice. Everyone.
See, Brad, if you got off earlier, you could have joined me and saw Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Yeah, I'll watch it at some point. It's not high on the priority list.
It should be higher on the priority list.
Was it that good, Jay?
It was good.
Was our girl Evangeline? What's her last
Lily?
name?
Lily.
Yeah. She's looking. Haven't seen much of her since Lost. Is she looking good in there?
Yeah, she's
doing
pretty
always.
well. I wonder who's doing her MMA stunt work though, because it's pretty impressive. Doing these freaking like flying triangle chokes and shit. Very impressive.
She was her on Lost back in the day.
Yeah, she's a solid looker. Got Michelle Pfeiffer in there too as her mom. That's an interesting mother-daughter combo.
Michelle Pfeiffer playing moms now, huh? Ooh, I'm getting old.
She's got to be like 60, right?
Yeah, I was gonna say I figured she'd be on Grandmoms by now.
Yeah,
wow, shots fired.
That's true though. Hell, she's got to be like 60 something, right?
I'm looking it up now. 60 years old on the dot.
Damn.
There you go.
April 29th, 1958.
Too bad.
Wow.
But super entertaining movie. A lot of laughs. Of all the Marvel movies, probably like top 2 or 3 in terms of entertainment. Maybe not that important in terms of the whole storyline perspective, but good lighthearted movie. Post credits were pretty sick. Got some oohs and ahs in the theater. I give it
I need a number, Jay. What's the number?
I'm gonna say like a 7.6. Very strong number. Yeah.
So about a half a Baroni.
like 2/3 of a Baroni.
A flaccid Baroni.
After a 47-degree shower, maybe.
Oh, man.
Hey, you know what the best part of MMA training is? Shower feel real good. Dude sweating on you all day, then you take a shower feel good.
Shower feel good. And then you take your cryptocurrency and go to the strip club, and it works.
Oh, what a time to be alive!
You betcha.
Phil Baroni.
Yeah, he blessed us tonight. That's for goddamn sure.
He's in the Tito class.
There we go.
And that will do it. I think that will do it for tonight.
There's no better way to end it than that.
Nope.
No better way. And with that, good luck. Get yourself some glasses. Actually, you don't even need glasses to see that Baroni shot. I mean, I need to get the reverse microscope so you're not just blinded. It'll just hit you in the face. Yeah, and I don't know. I'm not even sure who I'm rooting for in this Cormier Miocic thing. I don't know.
Root for chaos, Jay. That's what you do.
It's kind of cool if either guy wins. So
yeah, I guess that's true.
If Cormier wins, he gets the other belt. If Stipe wins, he's longest reigning champ, all that good stuff. So
that's true.
Win-win.
It's a win. But New Sean, I think, has it right. When you watch the fights, you always root for chaos. And with that, good night.